Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. It's the best time of the quarter. It's time for me to monitor my physical TBR. 3 months have now passed since the last time I monitored my TBR, so we're in due time to do this again. I will be talking about all of the books I've read, hauled, unhauled, been gifted, all of that throughout the months of July, August and September. During this last quarter, I have genuinely gotten my reading mojo back, which is amazing. So I have been reading a bunch, like it was the summer holidays, I went traveling, I read a lot during that, I've been filming videos, reading for that. So I have been reading, but I know already that perhaps my number won't be so high because many of the books I've read have been audiobooks. I've utilized my library more, so I've read library books and I've also read like a couple of ebooks. Even though I've been reading a lot, it might not show in my numbers of my physical TBR, although I feel like I've been good at reading my physical TBR as well. As always, let's start by looking at all of the books I've read these last 3 months. I have been reading a bunch. I think I read a total of 17 books. Only 10 of them though were from my physical TBR, but on top of that I only have 8 of them left now because I have been unhauling books. I will be talking more about my unhauling later on in this video, but here I got 8 copies of physical reads from my physical TBR, but let's split it down into what I read per month. In July I read 5 books, and all of these I read or started when I was away on holiday. I had like an intense 2-week reading sprint while away on holiday in Spain. In August I read 3 books from my physical TBR. It was these 2 and also One Last Shot, which I have already unhauled. On top of that, I listened to a bunch of audiobooks. I borrowed and read the first 3 volumes of One Piece from my library, and I also read The 7-Year Slip as an ebook on my e-reader. In September, I read a total of 5 books, being 2 books from my physical TBR, this one and Bride, which I have already unhauled, and on top of that, I've listened to 2 audiobooks and borrowed 1 book from my library. I just had a look at my previous monitoring my physical TBR video where I ended at 142 books. I have since read 10 books. That means I'm currently at 132 books on my physical TBR. Steadily going down. Once again, had I not been reading so much from my library or audiobooks and ebooks, there would be more. But I feel like it's good that I'm utilizing my library. I also like that I've been listening more to audiobooks and done more e-reading as well, so I'm not mad about it. I'm also glad because I've started sort of this new video thing where I randomize a shelf and pick a book from that shelf, and that one has actually encouraged me to pick up books I perhaps would not pick up directly or in the near future from my own physical TBR, so I will definitely keep up with that video series. I posted 1 video of that so far. I am currently working on another one. Let's now consider all of the books I have hauled. For all of the books I've hauled, not considering gifted reads or bookbox books, I have hauled a total of 10 books in these last 3 months. I'm only showing 9 because one of them I have hauled, read and unhauled. That is One Last Shot. So a total of 10, but only 9 here on display. In July, I purchased a total of 6 books, these 5 and also One Last Shot. It was when I was getting back into reading. I was planning for my holiday TBRs as well. I was continuing in series, so that's why I hauled a bit more, I think. In August, I only purchased 1 book, and that is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire, a continuation of a companion novel series that I really enjoy, so I saw this in the bookstore and just picked it up. And in September I purchased a total of 3 books, 2 of them while being stranded at airports while traveling, and 1 of them I've actually picked up secondhand, which is fun and interesting and something I feel like I will be exploring a lot more in the upcoming future. So a total of 10 books purchased these last 3 months, basically erasing all of the progress I did with my reading. So we are now back at 142 books. I am excited about all of these books. I feel like I will be getting to them fairly soon. So I do feel like I've done smart purchases. Like many of these I also got on sale, secondhand, cheaper because I got them abroad, things like that. I am glad about this stack. I don't regret it. For gifted books, I was gifted 1 book these last 3 months, and that is One Day from my mother. She had started watching the Netflix adaptation and we were going to Italy for a week, so she wanted to buy this one for me because she had not yet seen how that series ends. I binged that Netflix adaptation, adored it, and I have been wanting to read this book since, so I'm very glad I got it. Thank you, Mom. So for gifted books, adding one more, we're going from 142 books to 143 books. Final category of hauled books, we got BookBox books. And I've actually received 2 books from my Illumicrate subscriptions these last 3 months, and those are Mistress of Lies and The Phoenix Keeper. And I have been good with skipping books, because I've come to the realization that I don't read my Illumicrate books, but these 2 caught my interest. I feel like they are books I would pick up in the near future. I'm still contemplating whether I should cancel my Illumicrate subscription or not, but currently I'm skipping books instead and just picking a few. They are gorgeous. I love how both of these are looking, so I'm actually very glad I got both of them. So going from 143 books and adding those 2 book subscription books, we are now at 145 books. Going up in the numbers, not amazing, but let's now talk about unhauling. Because something I've been getting into this last month or so is unhauling books. I mainly unhaul books I've already read, which is why I don't have all of the books to show you in these wrap-ups, because I basically unhaul them the moment I've finished them. I've been unhauling mainly read books, but also a few unread books. And in total, I have unhauled 4 unread books. 2 books I still have. Those are The Wedding Party and also Song of Silver Flame Like Night. On top of that, I have also unhauled A River Enchanted and Little Thieves. So 3 Illumicrate books that have all been on my shelves for ages, I feel like. And I decided that someone else might appreciate those gorgeous editions more than I am. Let's talk a bit about unhauling, because previously I feel like it's always a struggle to unhaul books. For me, I don't unhaul books with the purpose of earning money. I unhaul them because I want to give books a second life and a second chance. I'm just glad to see another owner of a book, but I still think it's quite tricky to unhaul books in Sweden. It's very rare that your library takes donations. We don't really have a dedicated place to donate books to. As I said, my purpose is not to make a profit, so I try to sell them secondhand on like various secondhand action sites and stuff, but shipping is quite high, so many times it's not worth purchasing a book secondhand, because if you add shipping it's gonna be the same price as a new one. But I've been trying out Vinted for selling books. So Vinted is an app that I believe is available in like the Nordic countries and also Poland. That one has been working quite well for me. I have been selling my used books there. They have some sort of deal with all of the carriers and shipping companies, so shipping isn't insanely expensive, which makes it so much more worth to purchase a book secondhand. That's what I've been trying out for this last month, and I have really been enjoying that. Actually, my purchase of Colt, which is a Swedish book in like a Swedish detective series, this one I purchased secondhand. I have the first one, I read it earlier this year, it's called Box, and I wanted a matching edition, so I wanted it in hardback. And I know that these go on sale fairly frequently, so I didn't want to spend a lot on it. And I saw that people were selling it secondhand. Basically, I paid like $2 for this one, because it was being sold on Vinted. I had like a few earnings on Vinted from selling other books, so I just used those earnings, like $1.50 or something, and basically paid $2 for this one, including shipping. So that's like what I mean when I'm saying I am now considering purchasing more books secondhand. I also attempted to join like a Facebook group where people buy and sell books in English. Haven't had that much success there, and it's interesting to see what people put out. But I've started to realize that there is a community of people selling books in English or books I'm intrigued by secondhand, and that it doesn't need to be all that expensive. Personally, I don't really care about broken spines or if a book is a bit tattered, as long as the price reflects that. So yeah, and like this one is in gorgeous condition. I mean, if I would have purchased this new without it being on sale, I would have paid like 200 Swedish crowns for this one. If it was on sale, perhaps like 90 Swedish crowns. Now I paid, as I said, 21 Swedish crowns, which is incredible. So I'm very happy about it, and I will definitely continue with this series now, and I have a matching edition. Perfect. So we were at 145 books. Subtracting 4, it means that we're at 141 books. So I have actually gone down in my physical TBR this last few months, even though it's not perhaps that noticeable. I feel like my bookshelves are a lot more spacious now because I am unhauling books I've read, and also because since the last quarter I have this additional shelf now. I've just really been enjoying this process of switching out my books. That's where we are ending this monitoring my physical TBR. 141 books left to read of my physical TBR. Let's see what the next 3 months got in store for me. I'm actually attempting to do like a low buy now in October, like in general, with life and like everything, like clothing, beauty, makeup, books, home goods, all of that. I'm attempting a low buy. But I know that in November there will be a few new book releases I'm really interested in picking up. I know I'm gonna purchase books throughout this final quarter as well, but perhaps keeping it to a minimum. We're gonna see though. I am very pleased with my reading overall these last 3 months. I feel like I've been upping my reading pace in comparison to the first half of the year. Will I be hitting my Goodreads reading goal? I don't think so, but I'm gonna be very glad if I get to like 52 books. That is my more realistic goal compared to the 81 books I put down on Goodreads. I don't know, I feel like I've been prioritizing things differently. I'm considering making a dedicated video where I discuss why my reading has been looking the way it has for the last 9 months, and perhaps try and discuss like the mindset surrounding that and why I'm trying to not get stressed about it and allow myself that space to read a bit slower, not read as much, all of that. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please take care and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!